Okay. All right, your man Diamond K in here, of course. We're gonna talk about Dukeyman. And Dukeyman is a major contributor um as far as the Baltimore scene of music. And he passed away, and his funeral was, as of this recording, was yesterday. March the 6th, 2024 was his funeral. And, I just wanted to, kind of touch on a few things about him and, just kind of for the record. But Dookie Man, I met Dookie Man in 1990. Okay. And so him and I've talked about this on air before, but I thought it would be good to kind of recount it. So my first girlfriend, uh Phyllis is her name. Anyway, Dookie Man dated one of her sisters. And so I met him there, like in the house. And he was in the music, I was in the music. So we didn't talk long, but I would see him, because like I said, he dated her older sister, and I dated the younger sister. And that was the first introductions that I had to him. Later on, so we talk about 92, he was a part of the DJ Precise and the Boys record. So he's on this record. And at this time, he was called DJ Show. His name was DJ Show at this time. And so that DJ Precise record came out, and here in Baltimore, that was a big record. DJ Precise. I did shows around the Woodlawn area, Baltimore City, Randallstown. They're from that area, and they did shows up in that area promoting that record, obviously in clubs and that kind of stuff. So as 1993 hits, and I signed with Frank Ski's label, and Hey Girl, Where Your Boyfriend At comes out, and that kind of that movement starts. I didn't really run into him again until about 95. 95, of course, he put out, Are You the Bomb, and had some records out. And so 95, on that Are You the Bomb run, and we ran that all the way 95, 96, and then Hey You Knuckleheads comes out, which is 1996. And so 1996, so we had Foe, of course we had Diamond K, we had Big Rhea, and there's another group that I'm trying to break, which was the Horsemen. So the Horsemen started, they were dancing in the club, they were hanging out in the record store with us, going to parties with us. And I really wanted to have, I felt that they needed a vehicle, a song. And so Kenny B came up with the concept of a song, which was called We Boys. And initially, Kenny B and I were going to do the song. But what I decided to do was give the song to the Horsemen. I thought it would be a better vehicle for the Horsemen. So initially, Kenny B and I, like I said, we're gonna do the song. But I ended up giving it to the Horsemen. But before we get to that, so that's 97 actually. So we're in 96. And so Dookie Man came to the record store in Westview Mall. A lot of DJs may know about the record store. Anyway, he came to the record store, and he has some tracks, and he played some tracks for me, which I liked, and we start working together, and we worked on he remixed one of my songs called Be More Bitches, We did another song, Work It 96, and we released that record. That's 96. Worked on Kenny B's record, which was You Don't Want None, Pages Blowing Up, Work Your Body. A lot of different records on Kenny B's As Hot as Can Be, Volume 2. So for DJs that had the actual record, it was a blue record, and it was a massive record. The You Don't Want None was a very big record for us at that time, and so it was a lot going on, and we were doing well, doing well. As I said, the Horseman comes about. The We Boys record came, and at the time, Dukeyman was living with his mother in Randallstown, Milford Mill area, and so his bedroom is in the attic. So I go up a bunch of steps, and he had set up in his bedroom. We recorded the song in the bedroom, vocals in the bedroom, everything. Did the whole record, which became We Boys. Oh, he cool. Yo, that's what We Boys, right? Look that up. Anyway, we do this record there in the bedroom, press it up, release it, becomes a big hit in Baltimore, the Baltimore region. Did that. We did another record after that, which was We Bout It. And so we worked on so many records together. 97, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. We're working on all these records. But just definitely the Horseman records, some Rhea records, and I guess around 98, I had this concept. So we did a project. I had a group in high school called the CIA. So we did a project on the CIA, which included my man Jay, and I did this record called Put Your Leg Up. Now, what was funny about that record is that, I had the session set up. I didn't know what song I was going to do. I did not know the song. And a lot of times I would write songs on the way to the studio. And Put Your Leg Up was one of those records that I came up with the day of the session. And it's one of my biggest records. So we did that record at Dukeyman's house, and at this time he was not living at home. Him and Cotton had a place together, and we did that record in his living room, in Dukeyman and Cotton's living room, which is Go Ahead Girl, Put Your Leg Up, Go Ahead Girl, Put Your Leg Up, and do it, put your leg up. Anyway, so that record, Cotton, his ex is she does the girl parts on that song. It's just one of those things. And she was there for a lot of recordings. And he would just, we need her to say a girl part on a song. And she was just there, and she would sing. She had a great voice, and she would just, get on records. And so that's how she got on the record, Put Your Leg Up. We've never performed that record together because she wasn't really an artist like that. She just did those background vocals. But yeah, I've performed Put Your Leg Up a bunch of times, but I've never performed it actually with her. On there, at the performance. But anyways, Put Your Leg Up, like I said, one of my biggest records, and Dukeyman did the track on that song, and it was a lot of fun. Like I said, we recorded that in the living room, and it was a lot of records that we did like that. But another memorable session with Dukeyman was also with the late great Big Tony. In 2001, I went to Tony, and I've been trying to get Tony to record some different things, and he would do stuff here and there, but he didn't. He was he'd gotten sick, and there he had some issues with his kidneys. He was doing dialysis, and I didn't know if the end was near per se. I felt maybe it could be, or maybe he was going to become disenchanted. Maybe he was going to lose his voice. Like there were a lot of things that were going on, and I really wanted to get this record done with Miss Tony, Big Tony. And so, we talked about it, we figured it out, and we started recording songs. But the thing is that, mind you, he's going to dialysis. So sometimes the dialysis would be completely draining. So he wouldn't want to do anything for a couple of days after he had those dialysis sessions. So, I would schedule studio time with Dukeyman before the dialysis. Preferably the early part of the week, because he would have dialysis like the later part of the week. And so we worked on this, what became the Master of Ceremonies project, which is the last project that Tony that Tony did. And so we did song like Living in the Alley was the first record that we did from the Master of Ceremonies sessions, and we did that at Dukeyman's. We did several records. We didn't do the whole project at Dukeyman's because I had a couple of different producers on there. But the records that we did with Dukeyman, one of those was called Living in the Alley. And so that was it was a lot of fun to record that. And so, we got Kenny B in to do some of the recording. And DJ Finesse was there. He did production on there, as well as I. Lil Lucky was featured on there. Big Reyes featured on there, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a bunch of producers, bunch of ideas. Miss Tony, sadly in the final years of his life, but sad to say, but Tony's gone. Tony passed away in 2003, and then 2024, Dukeyman passes away. But it was just thinking back on some of the sessions and stuff, and sometimes Dukeyman and I used to get tattoos, right? And sometimes after songs, celebrating a record, I was let's just go get some tattoos, and we'd go get tattoos, and it was just a lot of fun stuff. Really, really cool, really, really down to earth guy, and humble, talented, fun. You know what I mean? He would just make noises. He would do silly stuff like that. He was super funny. Didn't come to the club a lot. Like he didn't party with us, because the Horsemen in the 90s, we were wild and we doing crazy, crazy stuff. And so he was always in a relationship. So he didn't take things too far or do nothing too crazy. But I, on the other hand, even when I was in relationships, I still was wild. But he did come to the club to hear songs, like to hear the reaction in the club to records and the such. He would definitely do that. So that was exciting. And that was fun. But like I said, he didn't come out a lot. But he was a good DJ, and he could scratch real good and all that kind of stuff. Cause like I said, he started out as a DJ. It was just, I'm trying to think. I don't think we've ever even had a disagreement before. I can't think of any time we had a disagreement. I do remember disagreeing with artists about different choices that he made. I trusted him and his production. So if I said I wanted a certain sound and he gave me the sound, and maybe the artist didn't understand the sound, but I liked it, and Dukey and I connected on the record, we would go with the record. And the artist, you just have to understand this is the direction that I'm going in. But primarily we did club records, dance records, but we still did hip hop records. We did some R&B records, and a lot of stuff. I remember, I guess it's 2001. He's producing this group called 80 Dimes, which B Rich was the lead rapper on there. But 80 Dimes, and they were selling some mixed CDs, and he was like telling me like, yo, this group is called 80 Dimes. And they had this record, which became the record called Whoa Now. But it had a he had a sample on it, which is from the Jeffersons. Anyway, the record that he used to sample, we in the record store we had an album of sound of theme songs, and so it had all, you know, Good Times, Jeffersons, Give Me a Break, like all these different theme songs for from different shows from the 80s and the 70s. Anyway, and he got that record from me, and he just did a lot of different things with this record. One of the samples that he took from this record was what he used on Whoa Now. And sometimes I would hear some of his songs. So you know, I did a good amount of records. I had a you know an label full of artists, and so I got a lot of production work with Dukeyman. But he still had more sounds to get out, and he worked with a lot of other artists. The Be Rich record was a record I wish he had given to me. I wish I'd got that record. But he, Be Rich, 80 Dimes, Dukeyman, they, you know, worked something out and got a deal with, I believe it was Atlantic. Got his deal, did a video, did another video, you know, got a nice advance, got some royalties on it. And it was, he was super excited. It was a very big record, and it was a great run. It's probably one of the biggest records he did. I don't know if it might be, it might be the highest charting record. But like I said, it was a massive record. I saw Be Rich at Dukeyman's funeral. It was good to see him. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. Lil Lucky, got to see him at the funeral. Will Soul, saw him. I saw Scar Akbar. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I did see him. Saw Techniques, DJ Techniques at the funeral. One of my favorite producers, club music producers, and of course Kenny B, and there was a lot of DJs there, and it was really good to see all of them. As you know, funerals are a sad thing. And you know, Dukeyman is one of those people that he would not want his friends and family and loved ones to be sad. He would want folks to be happy and celebrate him, celebrate the memories. And so just a whole lot. I got a whole lot of memories with him, being up in the studio with him. And we've gone to different studios where he just brought his keyboard, and we've done different things. And yeah, so I'm definitely gonna miss the camaraderie that we had. I'm going to miss the music that was made, concepts. Moochie was an artist that Dukeyman introduced me to. I got to see her at the viewing. And yeah, so we did a lot of shows. We had a lot of fun. Dukeyman did come to some of the live performances that we had, and but he's one of those guys where people always say this, you know, and it's true. You only get a certain amount of friends. I don't have a lot of friends, but Dukeyman was one of my friends, and you know, our connection was through music. Like, we didn't talk about relationships. We didn't talk about, you know, too many other things. It was a music thing, and we did a lot of music. And you know, being at his funeral yesterday really motivated me to finish up a few songs that I've kind of in various stages of completing. So we're definitely going to have some new music coming. I'm glad to see and hear that his record pool, Music Madness, a record pool is going to be continuing. Music Madness, ironically, is one of the tattoos that I paid for when you know, we finished a record, and I got a tattoo, he got a tattoo. And I think one of the Horsemen got a tattoo all that same day. And we just, you know, it was just one of those things. But you know, he named his record pool Music Madness. That was kind of his thing. That was his brand. And so it's going to be a lot more music coming. And you know, Dukeyman has put so much to the art form here in Baltimore, the sound. whether it's house, whether it's club, whether it's hip hop, whether it's R&B. He did all of that. One of the few guys. He is going to be missed big time. And what is someone saying? Check out my sound, big bro. I promise you ain't heard nothing like me. Okay, that's cool. Like, send me a record, djdiamondk at gmail.com, or inbox me some links. I'll check it out. And so just talking about Dukeyman, who Baltimore producer, who recently passed away, and his funeral was yesterday as I am recording this now. So I'm just sitting here thinking about and remembering. I talked about how we met, talked about some of the records that we did. Many records. The Best Friend record with Property was a little lucky. That was a massive record, but a lot of records. I had a group called Blackmail, and Dukeyman did several records on that project. I'm just thinking, so many records. We did records with Buckshot. And like I said, and I've done a lot of records as well. Take It Outside was a record that we did in his living room, which was crazy. And just so many, so much music. And it's funny because you think sometimes, and I don't want you all to make this mistake. You've probably made it before, but try not to make this mistake, which is thinking that someone is going to always be there. Take it for granted. Oh, I call him tomorrow. He's going to always be there. He's always there, right? You don't know when your time is up or when that person's time is up. So you got to, if you think something, like you ever think about somebody like, oh God, I need to call such and such, and then you get sidetracked and you don't call them, right? And then another day, I'm gonna call him tomorrow, and then another goes past, and you don't call him. Another day, you gotta when that comes into your mind, you gotta do it. You gotta do it at that time. It pops in your head for a reason, and so it's just a lot of great memories. I don't have any bad memories. I don't have any bad conversation that I could point to. Like I said, we never even had a disagreement. And I can't say that about a lot of people because, I've had some disagreements with folks. But him and I were always good. And I was always proud of the growth, because he showed growth. He did a lot of things. He always was upgrading the studio, always taking his sound to the next level. Many folks may know that he also was a barber. And that's an artistry in itself right there. The work he did with Theo, he always did great work with Theo. They were, really, really good friends in the barbershop and school and all of that. And so they worked well together. He did a bunch of records for Theo that were classic, like Shorty You Fat and other records. I just really, really don't know if the Baltimore scene is aware of the hole in the sound that I don't think any one person can fill that has been created with the loss of Dukeyman. And so some people, y'all may know who he is or you may not, because he's really was a behind the scenes type of guy. Right, because you talk about a producer, you talk about an engineer, you're talking about somebody who is behind the scenes. He wasn't a performer. He didn't get on the stage and grab the microphone and start, even though his voice is on some records. But he was a behind the scenes person. And so because he was a behind the scenes person, some of you may not know who he is. But I guarantee you, if it's a DJ in the city of Baltimore, in the Baltimore metro area, that has played music from the 90s up until today, the DJ will know who Dukeyman is. And that is a testament to how impactful Dukeyman will be for years to come. Because the thing about music is timeless. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be there. right? And so, like, of our R&B greats or our hip hop greats that have passed on, you can still hear their music. Marvin Gaye, folks like that. You can still James Brown. You can still listen to their music. It's timeless, right? And Dukeyman created, produced timeless music. Now, thankfully, we'll be able to hear it and listen to it. Their pictures and their, all kinds of things. But most importantly, those sounds, the records that were created, we can still hear those, and we're gonna talk about it and tell the stories and share the memories and laugh and cry and all that kind of stuff. Yesterday there was a repass at Safari, which is a club here in Baltimore, and I got a chance to chop it up with some guys that I don't get a chance to see often. And what I want us to do as a music community, and every area, every community has their own, core group of folks, right? The scene that embody the music scene. And some of those folks may have disagreements. Some of those folks, it's all love and all that kind of stuff. But what I want us to do here in Baltimore, our music scene, the DJs and MCs and all that kind of stuff that make the club scene, right? Promoters, whatever. I want us to get together for things other than a funeral, right? I got a chance to see some guys that I hadn't seen long since they used to come to my record store back in the day, and some guys that I see ever so often on social media, but I don't see them in person. And I want us to get together more than just for the celebration of life. Like, just get together to actually celebrate life, and not just because of a celebration of life. You know what I'm saying? Get together just because. And so I know they have beat battles and things like that, and I don't normally attend, but I'm going to start coming out more because it is just important. So I am happy that I was able to see a lot of folks that I don't see all the time. Like Pork Chop and L, I see them often, and Love Jones, I got to see him, and Say What, got to see him. BJ, got to see him. A lot of members from the Horsemen, saw Ice. DJ Ice saw Unique, obviously, and Kenny B and Broad Braxton. I had a very interesting conversation with Broad Braxton. He is a DJ from the Paradox, and one of the first DJs that I heard live that just blending was on point. In the Paradox, for those that remember the Paradox, it was a club in downtown Baltimore that had one of the best sound systems on the East Coast. Crazy. So just saw so many folks yesterday. Nelly Nell, Kenny K, DJ Booby, Ecstasy, Buckshot, so many people from the Baltimore DJ Zone. Somebody came up to me. I didn't get a chance to catch his name, but he came up to me and shook my hand, and he said that I follow you on social media, and you always posting the news. And we just met in person. It was just, I thought that was so cool. You know what I mean? And sometimes I hear people on social media say when people come up to them that they don't know personally, but they know them from social media, they think that it's a weird thing. I don't. I love when folks come up to me and maybe they know me, because I do a lot of different things, right? So we do the Diamond K show, that podcast, and I do that every day. And then I produce a bunch of other shows for Radio on Fire and ONFIRE-TV, right? So some people know me for that side. And some people know me for working on political campaigns and talking about politics and stuff like that. And some people know me for that stuff, right? And then some people know me as a DJ, right? DJ Diamond K. And, mixing since I was a teenager. And some people know me as Diamond K, the artist, on records and the producer and that kind of things. And so people know me in so many different facets of life. And I love for when folks come up to me and talk to me, or, say stuff. I've had people come up to me and say, "You DJ'd my high school graduation," and now they're grown, right? And and they're grown with kids in high school, right? That is cool to me. And usually I will remember every party. Like this is, I mean, folks have come to me that I DJ parties for them in their backyard, like back in the day, and now I'm on a whole nother wave, but it's just it's really cool to see that. um and so don't ever think, and here's another thing, don't ever think you can't come up to me, first of all. But DJs, up and coming DJs, artists up and coming, um you can always reach out to me, djdiamondk at gmail.com. If any information that I can give to help an artist, I will do that. And so if it's a DJ that needs music or just anything, pointers, tips, you can reach out to me, or hit me up on social media. I will, chop it up with you, and whatever information I have, I'll give you. It's no problem. Recording artists, same thing. Producers, same thing. And even if it's not an up and coming, even if you're somebody that's been in the game for a while, but you just stuck on something, I also do, graphic design and editing and things like that. And so I can always point people in the right direction, and help out whenever I can, because the thing is that, um, so many people have helped me. And so I always want to try to help others. If possible, I will share your music, all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of want to put that out there. I don't get a chance to say stuff like that often. Maybe I need to say stuff like that more. I don't say stuff like that often, because I just think automatically people would just know. But if I don't tell you, how you gonna know, right? So I wanted to say that. And yeah, just lost a good friend. And whenever you lose someone, I think that it shines a light on your own mortality, right? You start thinking like, when is my time? When is the time that I'm going to pass, right? And you start kind of thinking about, and you kind of um have those thoughts, and it kind of puts things in order. And that's where I'm at, right? So just kind of focusing. So it's going to be new music coming. I have another project, that I haven't announced yet, that I've been working on for a couple of years, that's going to be coming, and a lot of different things. But I'm definitely looking to collaborate more, um, and just do more work, more help. Um, yeah. So as I said, djdiamondk@gmail.com, at the Diamond K Show, of course, on fire-tv.com. Everyone don't help artists, bro. Condolences. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, and everyone does not do that, but I definitely am. I've said this before, and it wasn't only when I lost someone, but I've said this before. Artists can reach out to me, is no problem. If I can help, I will, point artists in the right direction, and I have done that for many years, and I don't even say it. You know what I mean? Like, I help somebody, and it's not like I'm going to say, "Oh, I help such and such," or whatever. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. But people can reach out. Um, there's so the internet, right? So I came up in the era of CDs, right? And then things moved to MP3s and to where they are now. So I know the era when we were promoting music in a record store. I love that era. But the difference now, this era is better from the standpoint of, we can get our music, our songs, our content, our videos, our projects out to the world. You can market it using the internet, using social media. You can market it to the world, from your house, from your studio, from your car, wherever you're at, right? As long as you got an internet connection. So that sets aside a whole nother realm of possibilities. Now, in the record store era, we're talking about in the 90s and early 2000s, yes, there was internet, but it wasn't utilized the way that it is now. We were talking about dial-up internet, right? So the connection speed was very slow. So you couldn't you couldn't stream a movie. Streaming wasn't even a word, as it related to the consumption of internet at that time. And so you had to physically go to the location to promote your record, or to promote your video, or to try to market your movie or your music or whatever, right? Now you can use the internet. If you have a phone, right? If you got a phone, you can do something. If you got a tablet, you can do something. You got a laptop or desktop, whatever it is, mobile device, you can do something and you can promote. Now, what I do want to say to artists is that it's not just about flooding somebody's timeline with your or tagging somebody or flooding their inbox or DM with your stuff. That's part of it, but that's not the only way. Right? There are other things that you can do to market yourself. You need visuals, right? You need some kind of visual. You need a flyer. You need reels. You need shorts. You need all these things to help separate you from the pack, because there's a lot of folks that are making music. There are more folks making music now than ever before because it's easier to do, which means that because it's easier to do, it means that it's going to be more people doing it. And if it's more people doing it, that means that it's harder to stand out from the pack. Now, notice I keep saying this is a reoccurring theme here. I'm saying standing out, separating yourself from the crowd, doing something different, right? Because you got to separate yourself, right? So when I came up, right, as a teenager, I had to save up money to go to a studio to record some music, right? I had it set up in the house, but it wasn't on the quality where that could be released as a record, as a song that people could play out loud. I, in the house, practice over other people's instrumentals. And then I wrote songs, and then I would go to a recording studio where we paid by the hour to actually record those lyrics on original tracks. And once we got that done, we get it mixed down, and then we put it on a CD, and then I would determine whether or not it was something I wanted to press up to get on a record, and then we would send it out to a record press. So you're going to press up 300 records, you're going to press up 500 records, you're going to press up 1,000 records, you're going to press up 2,000 records, whatever it was. And you would press those records up. Now we're talking about vinyl, 12-inch records. We'd press those records up, get them back. We'd send them to record stores. But before we would get the records back, we would get something called a test press. So that would be 5 records, they're white labeled, and it would be a sample of what the record that you sent sounded like. Usually would take about three weeks to come. 3 weeks from when they received it that you would get it. And you would listen to it and say, okay, this sounds good. And you would tell them, okay, proceed, make the order that I've sent in, whether it was, that's 300, 500, whatever it was. And then you would take those records and you would give those to the tastemakers in the area, or tastemakers you could reach, right? Guy on the radio, the guy who's in the hottest club. You had 5 of them, and you would give them to those DJs. You had to write on there what it is, name of your song, and then hopefully they would play that record. So by the time the actual order came back, you had built a buzz up for your record, right? So mind you, I told you to take 3 weeks to get the test press, and then like another 2 weeks after that to get the order. So we're talking about almost a month and a half, right? Now this is from the studio. So we're talking about a month and a half before you have the record. Now you can put some posters up, you can do some different things. You can let some people hear the song, but there wasn't any internet, and you had to wait a month and a half to get this song back so you could give it to DJs and stuff. Now, if you were pressing up a CD or cassette, the timeline was shorter. But at this time, DJs in the clubs played vinyl, 12-inch records. And so now I can get off of this stream right here, go into the next room, which is where my recording studio is, and record a song tonight, and I could release it tomorrow. That's how things can be now. I could release it tomorrow, and we could promote it and all that kind of stuff from here in the studio. And so that is a great thing. That is a great thing. Now, folks talk about the difference in money, right? So we were selling CDs. The money that we were selling CDs for was higher, right? But it was longer. The process took longer, right? And it was, the person has a CD player, the CD breaks, they got to buy another one, all that kind of stuff's cool, right? Now, the access to the music is much simpler. You can access music from your phone. You can access music from the computer. You can access music from a lot of different places. You can access it from your TV, right? So it's not going to cost the same amount as a CD disc did. It doesn't make sense. The access is too widespread. So the cost per unit is going to be lower, right? And so folks are usually not even downloading. They're just streaming. They're just playing it. And so you got to find out what the name of the game is. You got to find out what the rules to the game are. And this is a streaming game that we're in right now. Now, does that mean 15 years from now it's going to be the streaming game? No, it might be something else. I don't know what it's going to be, but it could be something else. Whatever it is, folks need to embrace what the current state of music entertainment is. Instead of complaining, you need to understand the rules and figure out how to play the game. But some folks may not take that advice and may say, "Oh, we're gonna try to get it back to back." Things don't go back; things only go forward. This is before my time, but my father told me that there was a period of time where they had vinyl in cars, and it didn't work because the record would skip because of the bumps, right? So then they did like 8 tracks, right? 8 tracks were these big cassettes. Then they did what we call the regular cassette, which was a smaller cassette. Then they did the compact disc, which is short for the CD. And then we had the MP3s, and that's where we are now, right? But now folks can just stream stuff, and whatever is the next thing is, that's what you got to get on. You have to get on that. You have to embrace that. You have to market yourself. You have to promote yourself. If you're not going to promote you, how can you expect anybody else to do it? Right? And what does promoting mean? Promoting means you are posting your stuff. You're asking your friends to do it. And here's another thing. And folks get really in their feelings about this. The people that are going to promote you the most are going to be people that don't know you. And that's fine. That is what it is, right? The person and the folks who are going to support you the most are going to be people that don't know you. They don't know you. But if they're a supporter, then they're a supporter, right? Now, sometimes the people that know us, they come late. They come to support us late, right? After other people have embraced us. Oh, that's Dwayne from down the street. Okay, yeah. It's just yeah, I know him. But then they're proud to know you once they see other people feel you. That's just what it is. Don't get mad at that person. That's just human nature. So some of the things that hold us back or get us mad at folks, we have to accept the human nature part. You know what I mean? That's human nature. The folks that know you're going to be the ones that want a discount. The people that don't know you, like, oh, I just pay whatever the price is. That's what it is a lot of times. A lot of folks that have stores, and they'll say, we went to this lady's store, and she said that none of her family or friends had been in her store before. None of them. All the people that supported her were strangers, right? And she wasn't mad about it. She understood. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. And so, business owners out there, I know that it is rough. And if you are expecting the people that know you to keep you in business, it could be a real rough road. You got to think outside your box, outside your circle. Utilize the internet, because the internet you can touch everywhere. We used to do a lot of shows and promoting in Philly. We used to do a lot of shows and promoting in Richmond. We used to do a lot of shows and promoting in Atlanta, in Miami, in New York. And I had to physically go to these locations to do this. Now we can do a social media marketing campaign in those locations and not leave Baltimore. If I need to, I leave, right? But you don't have to. You can plant the seeds from your location. And I do help people with that type of marketing. Definitely djdiamondk at gmail.com or DM or inbox me, and we can talk business. But you can do these things. You can promote and target anywhere in the world. Now, it takes money, obviously, but it's not as much money as it is to fly there or to ship merchandise there or to drive there. You can do these things. Whether you're selling music, whether you are selling food, whether you are selling clothes, whether you are selling makeup, whether you are selling hair, whether you are selling, these things with these bracelets, you know what I mean? Whatever you're selling, you can use the internet for that. And that is a good thing. Now, with the rise of the internet, obviously comes not the demise, but it has definitely been a reorganization in stores and what they call brick and mortar stores. And so because the internet is so big and so powerful and so widely used, so understand what the game is. Now, some things are never going to go out of style, right? People going to always want to eat. People going to always want to go out somewhere and party and drink. And some things are just going to be, as we said, timeless. Some things are not going nowhere. And some businesses are not going to require different things. I remember in the 90s, I had a conversation with my father. He said, nobody's going to never buy a car off the internet. He said, some things they're going to buy off the internet, some things they not. Right. My truck, I bought off the internet. Right. I bought a truck off the internet over the summer. Right. Shopped for it on the internet, found it, figured out where it was, and then I drove down there and picked it up or whatever, did the paperwork. But I did my initial paperwork on the internet. Did all the background check, all that kind of stuff that they wanted to do. I did that on the internet, and then I went to the place after I had, everything went through to pick up the vehicle. Right? Crazy. That's just how things are. I can't think of anything that I would need that I cannot buy off the internet. Right? I've bought couches, beds, tables, all kind of stuff off the internet. People buy food, wine, everything. There's nothing, right? You can buy a house off the internet. Done that before too. You know what I mean? And so it's a very powerful tool. It is something that will level and it will level the playing field. And I definitely want folks to respect the power of the internet. Now, we definitely got off on I went off on a tangent about marketing and promoting. And my original topic was remembering my friend Dukeyman, producer, whose funeral I attended yesterday. I definitely want to say rest in peace to that brother. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And as I was talking with Pork Chop about it, Pork Chop and Theo, we were talking outside of his viewing yesterday. And we were just coming up, just saying different words about Dukeyman. And the word that really stuck with me that I said, and Pork Chop agreed, was solid. Dukeyman was a solid dude. And you don't meet too many solid people, right? You meet some people that's kind of flaky. He's kind of, I don't know about this one, right? But Dukeyman was a solid guy. And whenever you get the fortune of meeting a solid person that you connect with, you know what I mean? It's going to be few and far between. But Dukeyman is not the only solid guy that I know, but he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. He's definitely going to be missed. And I'm sure that you have folks like that in your life that you've had the fortune of meeting and chopping it up with. And hopefully you have great stories and great memories and great thoughts of them, like I have of Ron Hall Jr., Dukeyman. Rest in peace, brother. And yes, for all of you watching, listening, I will be back here tomorrow. ONFIRE-TV.com, on YouTube, djdiamondk, on social media, I am Dr. Diamond K, and all Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. What's the other one? Threads. at the Diamond K Show. But otherwise, I will be back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. We have Swap Radio. 8:30, we will have the pre-show for the State of the Union, and then after that, we're going to be talking about the State of the Union. Also on Friday, I'll be dropping a new flashback mix. On Saturdays, a new club mix, and a lot of music to come, and a lot of things going on. So I will see you guys tomorrow.